The movie starts with a tourist named Greg and his pregnant girlfriend, Heather, who are visiting Australia's Gold Coast. They go to a place called Tucker's Experience for a shark cage attraction. But the owner, Tucker, is nowhere to be seen. There, they meet a man named Dave, who warns them that a shark recently attacked someone in the area. Just then, Tucker arrives and welcomes them. The couple boards Tucker's boat and they head out into the open sea. Once they arrive, Tucker starts throwing bait into the water to attract the sharks. Heather is very scared of the sharks and begins to panic, but Tucker calms her down. After a while, the two of them go down into the underwater cage, surrounded by sharks. When they come back up, they are very happy and thank Tucker. However, while they are talking, Tucker suddenly stabs Greg with a knife and pushes him into the sea, where the sharks eat him. The story then shifts to the next day, introducing an American girl named Zephyr who is surfing nearby and enjoying her life. She visits a store where she meets a man named Moses. Zephyr helps him jumpstart his broken-down car using cables. During their conversation, they talk about surfing and start to like each other. That night, they talk in Zephyr's van and eventually fall asleep there. The next morning, Moses wakes up early and goes inside to make breakfast for her. When he returns, Zephyr has already left in her van, leaving Moses feeling sad. Later, Zephyr reaches a beach parking lot, planning to go surfing. She receives a message from Moses asking why she left, and she explains she came to surf. Suddenly, Tucker attacks her, knocks her unconscious, and puts her in a large suitcase in his truck. He then returns to his boat and drags the suitcase into the cabin. Meanwhile, Moses arrives at the beach parking lot and finds Zephyr's van, but she is nowhere to be found. He calls her, but he can hear her phone ringing inside the van. On the boat, Zephyr wakes up to find herself handcuffed to a bed. Heather is also there, held captive. Zephyr screams for help, but Heather tells her it's useless because no one can hear them. Tucker arrives with food and water. He puts sleeping medicine in their water, causing them both to pass out. When Zephyr wakes up, she is tied to a chair on the deck, and Tucker is setting up a camera. Tucker flips a switch, and Heather is suspended over the water where sharks are swimming below. Heather begs for her life, but he lowers her halfway into the water and the sharks begin to eat her. Zephyr screams in horror while Tucker records the entire scene. Later that night, when Tucker tries to drug Zephyr again, she stabs him with a sharp piece of plastic and he falls down. Zephyr finds the keys and frees herself, but Tucker wakes up and chases her. He catches her and injects her leg with a sedative. The next morning, Moses finds Tucker's boat and goes on board, but he finds no one at first. Suddenly, Moses hears Zephyr screaming. He breaks a window, gets inside, and follows the sound until he finally reaches her. He removes the tape from her mouth, and she begs him to call the police. However, while Moses is trying to make the call, Tucker appears, and a fight breaks out between them. The following morning, Moses finds himself tied up alongside Zephyr. Tucker arrives and prepares to kill Moses. Zephyr begs him to let Moses go, but Tucker ignores her and presses a button, suspending Moses over the water. With half of his body submerged, sharks begin circling him. Zephyr tells Moses to stay perfectly still. He follows her advice, and the sharks back off. This makes Tucker so angry that he pulls Moses back onto the boat and stabs him, leaving him covered in blood. As he prepares to throw him back to the sharks, a helicopter passes nearby, forcing Tucker to stop and retreat inside the cabin. Inside the cabin, a wounded Moses is unconscious. Feeling guilty that he is in this mess because of her, Zephyr makes a desperate decision. She breaks her own thumb to slip out of the handcuffs. When that isn't enough, she screams in pain and uses her teeth to bite through her thumb to free her hand. When Tucker returns and sees Zephyr is gone, he panics. Zephyr, hiding behind the door, locks him inside and runs. She reaches the control room and starts the engine, but Tucker manages to get out and cuts the power. Zephyr spots a party boat nearby and tries to fire a flare for help, but Tucker attacks her, and she ends up firing the flare at him instead. After a struggle, she jumps into the sea and swims toward the beach. Tucker chases her on a small boat, catches her on the shore, and knocks her out again. When Zephyr regains consciousness, she is the one suspended over the water while Moses is forced to watch from a chair. Tucker sets up his camera, delighted to see a very aggressive shark in the water. He slowly lowers Zephyr into the sea as Moses pleads for him to stop. Even though Zephyr is halfway in the water and bleeding from her hand, The shark surprisingly does not attack, which confuses Tucker. Tucker realizes a massive great white shark has entered the area, scaring the other sharks away. He tries to use a hook to drive the big shark off, but he loses his grip on it. Zephyr grabs the hook and tries to climb up the harness, but she falls. The impact of the fall breaks her free from the rope. Now in the water, she faces the terrifying shark, but it ignores her and swims past. While Tucker is looking for her in the water, Zephyr climbs onto the back of the boat. She fires a harpoon at Tucker, hitting him in the chest. He falls into the water, and the great white suddenly attacks and kills him. The entire scene is recorded on Tucker's own camera. As the shark drags Tucker into the deep, the harpoon rope gets tangled around Zephyr's leg, pulling her into the water as well. Seeing this, Moses screams in horror and faints from the shock. However, Zephyr gathers her strength, swims back to the surface, and makes it onto the boat. In the final scene, Zephyr fires a flare, and a passing boat sees the signal and comes to their rescue. She tries to wake Moses up, speaking to him lovingly. Hearing her voice, Moses opens his eyes, and the story ends there.